Welcome to the 2012 Simple Green U.S. Open. I'm David Fink alongside Hall of Famer and living legend John Bike Jr. John, this is the second men's semifinal of the pro doubles here tonight. It was earlier Nati Alvarado, your brother-in-law, and Tati Silveira advancing to the final, and they'll be awaiting the winner here. John, I know you played in this event, actually losing to the receiving team 11-9, a heartbreaker today. Do these guys from Ireland, John, have a chance to upset the five-time champions here, Vince Munoz and Marco Chavez?
Well, Michael Gregan has established himself as a top player, losing 11-9 to Nati Jr. in Worlds. And we didn't know about his partner, but my gosh, he played solid today against us.
Well, I think his partner is a very underrated player. He, John, like a lot of the, or almost all of the Irish players, has a system, and he's very good at what he does, especially when he gets confidence. He's got a brilliant right hand, but quickly now, David, or excuse me, John, it's Vince and Marcos off to a very quick start. And John, I know you play these guys a lot. These guys can just score points in bunches. They hit a serve and a kill, an ace, a serve and a kill, and before you know it, it's 6-0.
I think they decided to get out to the fast start. Chris and I actually got out to a fast start with these guys also, but we were not unable to capitalize.
I haven't had the opportunity to see Michael and Jared play together yet, but John, do they have enough offense, as you see a timeout from them, do they have enough offense to threaten Marcos and Vince?
As I said, Michael Gregan is a top-class world caliber player right now, so he's right in there with them. But I think they are serious underdogs. Okay. Well,
you know, John, in our last match, we saw Desi Keegan and Joe McCann get down 11-0 in 5 minutes to Nati and Tati. It just seemed like they couldn't adjust to that style of play. You know, Nati and Tati hit those amazing shots that flatten out when they hit the ground. If you've never seen that before, as Desi and Joe hadn't, almost impossible, but they did make the adjustment. They came back and won the second game. Right now, the Irish are playing against two guys that are so unorthodox, particularly Marcos, who has these amazing soft big ball kills in the front court, and I don't know if they even know how to react to that.
Exactly, that's the thing. Munoz and Chavez, they're showing them something they've never seen before. Exactly, and that's, see how long it takes them to adjust. That's the thing about, we've all played Marcos and Vince many times, and it's just different playing any other team.
Last year, John, was the first time Marcos and Vince have ever lost at this event, and they lost badly to Paul Brady and Mike Finnegan. And after seeing what we saw last weekend with Paul Brady and Mike Finnegan losing so badly to Luis and Andy Nett, it's almost surprising that they would have lost.
Now, the match I want to see, if this thing holds true, I want to see Nati and Tati against Nett and Moreno. To me, those are the best two teams right now.
Well, I agree with you. Nati and Tati, fresh. I don't know if they became complacent, John, in that last match after building that 11-0 lead, but they weren't really the same, even though they ended up winning the match. Of course, Joe injuring himself, but the Nati and Tati that I saw build the 11-point lead against Luis and Andy would be just an amazing match.
That's what I was thinking watching that match and this match also. We'll see. I mean, if one of these guys beats Nati and Tati, then
side out.
And John, how does Marcos even hit that shot? I mean, it seems impossible.
Yeah, he plays a lot of big ball, small ball. He's just very creative.
One down.
Same guy.
7-0.
It seems like, John, all the Irish are schooled with the same system. They've got amazing fish shots to the ceiling. They can drive the ball down the walls, but you look at somebody like Marco Chavez, how do you teach somebody to play like that?
Yeah, that's just hours and hours of like freestyling, exactly. And they just got out-talented by a fired-up Paul Brady in his first major competition.
Right.
That was the way they were beat. They just.
Well, Paul Brady was just absolutely amazing last year. You know, he gets so much credit for all the you know, the world titles and the amazing dominating performances he had, particularly in the 2009 and 2010 Nationals. But he was as crisp and sharp last year in the doubles as I've ever seen him.
Yeah, he probably would have won the singles also. He didn't want to risk it. He didn't think he was ready yet. But yeah, that was like all pent up, a year's worth of competition. And he just brought it all on Vince and Marcos.
1 down. 1-7.
We don't want to get ahead of ourselves yet, John, but if Marcos and Vince were to face Nadi and Toddy, that would certainly be a historic match with 3 guys certainly going into the Hall of Fame. And Marcos, hard to say, but you know, Marcos is one of those players that really can compete against anybody. He might not have the singles credentials as the other 3, but certainly he has the doubles credentials if you count the U.S. Open as a major, which I certainly do.
I do.
2-7.
Yeah, like you say, it's too early to get ahead of ourselves, but what a match that would be. Either way, it's a great match. If these 2 young Irishmen knock off Vince and Marcos, you got a whole new storyline. You know, I'm sorry. At this moment, Gregan's the best singles player in the court. I mean, he's established his credentials. He's ahead of Nadi Alvarado Jr. 9-2 in a tiebreaker in Ireland last week.
And he got a little bit tight there with that lead, John. And you know, I don't know if you had a chance to watch the Ireland versus WPH showdown exhibition, but Michael Gregan led Sean Lenning 19-12 in a 1-game match to 21. Also led 20-16. And he put 4 very fat setups into the floor that would have won him the match.
Well, I'm not going to lie. Our match, I was not counting on it, but not counting on them running 6 points in the end. So he just magically turned it around against us. So
8-3.
He was doing what we expected him to do in the late in the match, and then all of a sudden, he just started winning the points.
I thought it was 2. I'm gonna call 2. I'm gonna call 2 bounces.
Interesting call here. And
do you think sometimes, John, when you lunge in at a ball awkwardly, sometimes your head is going the other direction and you almost don't even see it when you make contact? Is there sometimes you just don't know?
I know by the feel. I never see 1 or 2. I know if I short hopped it or was under it. And referee Montillo did mention there's only a few players in handball that he doesn't trust to call his doubles. And that's all I'll say about that.
Okay.
He generally goes with the player, but I guess I'll say a little more.
John, should that be a side out when
with
Marcos
our super
hits
lively ball? I would say so. That's what racquetball does. In the old days, it was an accident to knock it out of there, but now you can just do it on purpose.
Well, I can't.
8-3.
I mean, yes, you can. As a master of the ceiling game.
Well, I don't know if I've ever hit a fist to the ceiling.
That's an excellent point you bring up. A server can always reset the point with this super ball just by bombing one out of the court with a fist.
Now, John, I know you're not involved in the ball making process, but what is the objective here?
Maybe I am.
Well,
I'm not.
Okay, but what's the goal here of continuing to make this ball faster and lighter, because you're taking so many elements of the game out of the equation? There's really no way to play defense. It's almost impossible to defend a serve.
I think our possibility is, like in Ireland, you saw they could cheaply construct dead courts if they have a live ball. Maybe that's our future.
But I have not heard of any plans to construct any cheap courts.
Freestyling here.
Okay.
Just the future of our game, we can't have these solid hard courts that are just empty for 6 hours a day. But if you can just throw up some plywood and have a fast enough ball that it's like handball.
But I did hear, John, that
6-8.
Those courts in Ireland cost $20,000 each to build. The temporary plywood courts, I don't know how much it would cost to build a cement court, but certainly that's a pretty steep expense.
And I stand corrected. I was just thinking we used to put a lot of money into permanent cement courts
One down.
are largely unused. And
Well, it seems like the plywood
Check the
courts
ball.
wouldn't have the longevity, as they could become easily warped or
I
cracked.
like the
Six,
big ball
78.
court out there. Just take it up, take it down.
Short ball.
Maybe
Second.
that's our future.
You've mentioned a couple times, John, that Michael Gregan is one of the top singles players in the world. What is it that makes him so good?
Well, he's got the total package when he's not flooring the ball. He's fast, he's big, he's strong. He lays the ball flat when he's feeling it.
Replay.
I think all he's missing is a couple too many unforced errors. I mean, that's exactly how our match went. We knew who we were playing against, and we made a.
Skid ball.
We had to do it in the second game to win that, and the breaker. Michael Gregan just did what he should do. He just made the big shots.
Michael Gregan seems to me a little bit like the Andy Nett of
Side
Irish handball, in that Andy keeps coming so close and not quite knocking down the door in these big matches. Today, Andy wasn't as competitive against Luis as maybe I thought he would be, but in the past, John, he's pushed these top players to tiebreakers in very close games and has yet to really take one of them down. And I think Michael Gregan very similar in that respect. He had Nadi Alvarado Jr. on the ropes last week in the Worlds, also Sean Lenning. I know in Ireland he's had a number of crushing defeats as well.
One down.
Yeah, that's the difference at this elite.
9-6.
At this elite level, that's the difference. And on our backcourt quarterfinal match today, he made the shots.
Well, John, that was a backhanded fist corner kill, and it looked like he was going for that.
Side out. 6-10.
Yeah, it's hard to analyze Mark's game.
And you can't give Jer, as we see Vince putting away a huge back wall setup, but you can't give Jer opportunities with his right hand, because he's got that lethal Irish whip, and he can really do a lot of damage.
Yeah, when he loads up, he's either going to win the point or continue dominance at the point, no question.
7-10.
And now, John, after a 7-0 start from Marcos and Vince, they've been outscored 7-3 as the Irish are on a comeback here. Let's not forget, John, for those that don't know, because this match was not webcasted, Marcos and Vince trailed 8-0 in the tiebreaker in the quarterfinals to Vic Perez, who's ranked in the top 13, and Nikolai Nahorniak, who a lot of people believe would be ranked in the top 13 if he traveled. And they came back to score 11 consecutive points when it looked like.
I'm sorry, we have an issue here with
Carlos. Can you?
With the linesman.
Greg. No. Jeff.
This is what separates us from other major sports. He has to adjust in the flying a linesman.
I need one more. Need one more.
Well, sometimes, John, umpires get drilled with a foul tip right in the face.
Something major happened.
And you know, the umpire at third base has to come in and put the gear on.
Is better than anybody at adjusting on the fly. He will handle this.
Well, that's why he's getting paid the big bucks.
Second.
I'm sorry, we missed you were making a point.
I wish
like a double also.
I wish I knew what it was.
Well, my main point is the best pure four-waller in the court is Michael Gregan.
Well,
side out.
You know, Marcos Chavez did beat Charlie Shanks last year
with his
in
own
LA.
style. Yeah, well, Charlie, and it's his own fault, but he just hated rally scoring. It just took his game way down. So in Charlie Shanks' mind, last year didn't count.
Okay. Well, you'll notice that Charlie only did well in the events that were not rally scoring.
Well, no, but that's on him. You play by the rules they give you. But no doubt, the rally scoring thing last year hurt him more than anybody else. And he'd tell anybody, I don't like rally scoring. You just say, well, it's the rule. You're all playing by the same rule. But Charlie was right, because we're not doing this year.
Well, Charlie actually said
Point.
he wouldn't even travel to the tournaments anymore if there was still rally scoring.
And maybe that's why. Did you just bow down to Charlie Shank?
8-10.
Say, well, if you're not going, then there's no tour.
Short ball.
Which, believe it or not, is actually closer to the truth than you
Second.
might believe.
I believed it when I said it.
We do have, John, a number of guys in the top 8 that probably will not be making the second stop of the year in 2 weeks. You might even be getting a call, John, as you're ranked in the top
9-10.
16. You may actually be invited there as we work our way down the list.
Is it Tucson?
Yes.
Oh, bring me in.
Nadi Alvarado Jr., John, keeps his plans very close to the vest. He's not sure if he's playing, but it seems like he won't be.
Excellent negotiator. If the price is right, he'll play.
10-10. Short ball.
But now we're at 10-10. Now look what just happened here.
Second.
Well, I was already calling for the Vince Marcos Nadi Toddy matchup just 5 minutes into this.
Hold it.
And now it's the Irish. Just like the rest of their countrymen, they're just so composed.
Replay,
they don't
10-10.
let a bad start or a few errors deter them at all.
And that's exactly what happened in our earlier match. I mean, we were up like 11-4, and it was mainly things they weren't doing well, and they just broke right out of that. Now you played Coonan, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, was the points he earned, was he that good, or, I mean,
10-10.
the typical winner?
He really did pick up his game in the second game. The first game, he was a little bit tentative. It seemed like he might have been a little bit nervous, but second game, he started to dictate rallies with that huge Irish whip. Like you said, John, either ending rallies or keeping the advantage or gaining a bigger advantage.
Also, other Irish players were saying that he's not up to this high standard, and I'm here to tell you, yes, he is.
Well, there were certainly flashes in the match in which I played him where he was up to that high standard. He didn't maintain it, though, throughout 2 games. He played it at about half of the second game.
10-10.
And John, is that an avoidable there? Where could Vince have hit that shot?
It's not avoidable because the defensive player couldn't have moved fast enough out of the way.
Short.
I had one of those early in my match with them. I took away a huge setup from Gregan, but I was moving as fast as I could out of the way. So what do you do? Avoidable means the hinderer could have avoided it.
10, serving 10. Point.
We are here at the 2012 Simple Green U.S. Open.
11,
I'm David
serving
Fink.
10.
Very honored to be alongside Hall of Famer John Bike as we watch this second men's pro doubles semifinals here late on Friday night. The winner of this, John, will play on Sunday afternoon against Nadi Alvarado Jr. and Toddy Silvera. Right now,
12,
John,
serving 10.
it's the Irish with all the momentum as they initially trailed 7-0 and have now taken the lead 12-10.
So, yeah, Vince said to me between games, last year they beat Gregan and Brian Carroll. And we were trying to discuss who's better, Carroll or Coonan. And I was amazed with Carroll's get-making ability, but Coonan's a rock there. He's a big man. He hits the ball hard. Maybe he's a better partner for Gregan because Gregan's also very fast. Gregan didn't need Carroll's speed. But
it's very high praise for Coonan, John, who, as you said, isn't necessarily regarded in that same stature as Brian Carroll, but
I'm just rationalizing my loss.
Okay.
But maybe he's a right partner for Gregan because Gregan is fast, Coonan's strong.
One down.
Well, it's interesting, John, that you say that Gregan doesn't need another speedster because he's already picking up a lot of balls.
Carry a lot of court.
14-10.
And Coonan makes the gets that come to him. He's not just going to miss the ball. He's going to do his job. He's like a Mike Connors back from my time.
Point. 15-10.
And it's 15-10 now, bearing it out because Carroll and Gregan did not do this well.
And you see Gregan now really elevating his game. Vince looks like he's struggling a little bit, John. He's not hitting the ball that hard. And of course, that time he does earn the side out.
That's the automatic announcer's curse. You got Vince that point.
10 serving 15.
John, how much does that really long and emotional comeback tiebreaker win for Marcos and Vince impact them here in this match as they are in their second match of the day here?
That's an excellent point, except it was similar. They came back from 8-0, which is amazing, but the Irish guys came back from 8-5 and won.
10 serving 15.
And they'd given up the second game. I mean, I see what you're saying, but
well,
the Irish team have a similar experience.
The experiences are similar, but the Irish guys are used to playing tournament handball.
11-15.
Vince very rarely plays tournament handball. He's in his 40s. And I'm just thinking that maybe he's not able to bounce back as well as these younger Irish guys.
Yeah, just for the, I agree with that for sure.
Point.
I know you're used to David Vincent making up some crazy argument when you make a good point. I'm just gonna agree with it. Is that too boring?
Well, I'm not used to it. I don't even know how to deal with someone agreeing with me. So
well, I'll start.
13-15.
We can bring my son in the booth. He'll
I actually enjoy it. And that's a beautiful corner kill from Marcos Chavez in the right corner. And you see Vince trying to get behind Marcos and get this crowd behind these Southern California legends.
That's good adrenaline there. Boy, he popped that serve.
Replay.
Gregan has kind of an awkward swing with his left off the back wall, but John, I think it's pretty effective.
Oh yeah, not gonna nitpick because he gets the job done. But this is what you're saying. Marcos just throws that shot out there at him, and now they're getting used to it already. Probably for Chavez and Munoz, it'd be better to just throw more of that nonsense at Coonan, who's never seen it before.
Well, for Marcos, John, he likes to go with that right-handed
15-14
splat shot, but you can only hit that into the left corner because it doesn't have the right spin in the right corner. So that goes right at Gregan, who seems to have adjusted to it.
He's seen it before, exactly.
You very rarely see Marcos go to the left-handed splat.
No. One down.
Coonan tries to go Marcos Chavez there with a feather kill in the right corner and comes up short.
15-14.
That's what Marcos is open for. Play my game.
Point.
Wow, Gregan comes up big there.
16-14.
Big ball.
Point.
Now that is so underrated what Coonan just did there. He's totally out of position. He's stuck in the back left.
17-14.
Keeps the rally going.
That was also a terrible error from Marcos at a really bad time. It keeps Gregan and Coonan in the box and gives them another point.
But that frustrates you. You think you're going against a weaker right side guy, and he's just so tenacious.
Replay. Check the ball. 17-14.
And a strange swing there, John, as it looked like Michael Gregan just pulling his head and trying to go inside out with a fist kill.
14,
I didn't
17.
get that at all.
Short. Beal, I called it short.
You have
Short
to
ball.
think, John, that Marcos and
Second
Vince
serve.
will have to score at least 3 or 4 points in this inning
Oh, bad bounce.
to stay in this first game.
Beal, I thought it took a bad bounce on the front on the hole. Yeah, they agree.
And that's interesting,
Still
John, because
second
that would have
serve.
been a double fault. The referee saying that it came up short because it hit the window, and the Irish saying that it was just a short serve. It wasn't a bad bounce.
Point.
Yeah, that hole is right in the power zone of all of us. Brady can go under it and get it over the line.
15, 17.
Vince, probably if he hit it, it should have been good. Some guys, so I agree with the ref's call.
1 down.
Kind of a sloppy shot from Marcos, but he'll go for those
15,
shots regardless
17.
of the score. You know, you see some guys go for circus shots early in games, but Marcos goes for it at 20-20 or 10-10. It just, the score's irrelevant.
Two
It makes
serves.
it hard to play against him. It's not really in your hands.
Point.
And Vince agrees. Vince calls point.
16, 17. Point.
So Marco's saying, I'm actually the best player in the court, not Michael Gregan.
17, 17. Side out.
It looked like that had the right spin on it, but I think Marcos just caught that on his thumb. The ball hits the side wall and goes
17,
immediately down to the
17.
floor, and that's a big miss, as now the Irish are in with a first server at 17 all here in the first game.
And that's Coonan only serves the left, so. This is how Michael Gregan is now, I guess.
Well, Michael
18,
recognizes
17.
the spin on the ball, John, as it comes off the left wall and just lets it roll through his hand and kills it in the right
Point.
corner. Now an unforced error from Marcos, and the Irish are just 2 points from capturing this
19,
first
17.
game after trailing 7-0 in just 2.5 minutes.
And Marcos
One down.
answers back. This is a Canis Mas Macho here.
19, 17. No, point.
Gregan really stepping up again, like he did in his earlier match.
20, game point, serving 17.
Marcos had a pretty good look at a re-kill there with his left, but he didn't take it.
Marcos playing the kind of safe. At that time with the left.
Side out.
Wow. Passing up all his right-handed shots. And then he just plants it with his left.
Well, I think we'll see a
Timeout.
timeout here as
All right,
Marcos
timeout,
and Vince
Marcos.
want to try and
17-20, 1
make
minute.
a final push here. But John, Marcos passed up 3 setups with his right hand, but then Jarrett Coonan stuck out his left hand when Michael Gregan was in a great position to shoot 2 shots with his right hand, and that ultimately is what I believe will cost the Irish a chance to have won the game in that rally. Why does Jarrett Coonan stick out his left there, John, when he knows Michael Gregan's right behind him?
Yeah, that's textbook.
And that was another one that Michael could have taken and done a lot more with.
I think he would have got hit by that ball, though. I think he had, that's the one. Oh, my gosh.
Well, there's
Yep.
another one here, John, and that's the second one.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, that's.
30 seconds.
So Gregan is not saying, get the hell out of my way. But you're right, yeah, twice it happened.
Well, we
That-
haven't
that
seen
may have
that
cost
in
him the
this
game.
entire
15
game, and now
seconds.
all of a sudden on the
Couldn't
penultimate
feel it with
point,
his left, yeah. That's
I think that's a little bit of inexperience by Jared Coonan there, who just
There you go.
a little bit anxious there, John.
That's
5
excellent,
seconds.
excellent replays there. And the second one, Michael throws his hands up like, for fuck's sake. Second time.
All right, coming in.
Say one's all right.
First man scores 17-20.
Now you're seeing Vince can get fired up for 4 points. He can definitely do that.
Well, Marcos and Vince will have a lot of momentum from winning that last rally that really could have gone either way. Vince could have ended it early, and then Jared Coonan sticking out that left hand twice, taking away opportunities for Michael Gregan to end that rally.
3-ball.
Do you like that call there, John? Is Michael?
Right past you.
Yeah, I think it was right.
Okay.
I mean, it's 50-50, but at this stage,
17-20.
player's throwing up his hands, and it's a neutral call
Short.
anyway. It's not no one's advantage.
But it's the kind of ball where what more could Marcus have done with that? I mean, the ball was driven right at his feet with a lot of pace, and
But he easily got it back. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
This neutral situation.
and what I don't like right now, John, from Jared Coonan, he's become very tentative now.
Well, he should be like a support system right now. He should be.
Point.
Yeah, maybe he got talking to it.
Well,
timeout.
You know, Jared had a
Vince,
good
I thought you
backball
had a shot.
opportunity there, and
Sorry.
he chose to hit a 2-all pass instead of
18-20.
shooting the bottom board, and he's proven he has that shot. And you see, just going very safe there. It
One
gave
down.
Vince a huge setup, and Vince just with a terrible hand air.
18-20.
Well, Vince has confided in us. He doesn't play any more handball matches anymore. He goes.
Hold it, hold it, hold it.
Ooh.
Hold it. Gregan. Was there contact in the way? Was there contact in the way? No, I'm sorry. Point. Point.
I think he stumbled upon the right call. I don't like how it happened.
20.
Well, it's interesting that Marcos didn't argue when the hinder was called, and then Gregan didn't argue when it was overturned.
Oops.
And you see, that's a ball that Jared has to put away there, John. As you see now, another opportunity. And
Now
Michael,
Gregan taking over again. Michael.
well, this is what Gregan has to do, John,
This
as you
is,
said.
I think he likes this role now. I don't think he used to like it. I think he's starting to like it more and more.
Well, I think a lot of times Gregan has played with a partner that might have been stronger than him, and now he's got that
20
alpha role,
serving.
Now
19.
exactly.
and it's raised his confidence.
Hold it, contact. Hold it. Stop. Contact.
Gregan, and I know, John, that you love my tennis analogies, but Gregan seems like a guy in tennis right now that's just
Replay
pushing the ball
2019.
over the net. He's not really accelerating through the ball. He's just making very careful swings.
Replay.
And I don't think that would have made it, John. That looked like it was going to
I
bounce
asked my
about.
line judges. I thought the
But
ball
you
was going
can't
to make
appeal
it.
this
One
either.
disagree.
You can't appeal this.
Both disagree. One out.
Well, once again, they
Both of my
stumbled
lines
onto the
disagree.
right call.
One down.
It could not have made it, but
No.
it's not an appealable call.
One down.
So
But you
no
see that
harm, no
safe
foul.
shot here, and now this is just a terrible miss here. And you can't tell from that angle, but it wouldn't have made it.
Would not
Second
have made
man
it.
serving.
This is the Coonan we were expecting to play.
20, serving 19.
I think Coonan might be in denial right now. I mean, there's no chance that
Short ball.
was making the front wall.
Second.
Well, if he's denying that it's not an appealable call, then he's right. That's up to the ref to make that call. Marcos Chavez, nice call by Gregan. Total class right
bounces.
there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great sportsmanship there from Michael Gregan.
He's
side
the
out.
new Tony Healy.
Score is 19-20.
Vince looked really good for those first 3 shots there in this rally, and we'll see if he can do anything, but he makes a terrible hand error, and Michael Gregan with just one of the worst errors we've seen in this tournament.
That's what threw us in our tiebreaker. He'd make 3 of those, and then he'd kill 5. How do you have a game plan against that?
Together at 20.
Well, you just hope.
You just.
First game, 5 minutes.
So, John, game number 1 ends with Michael Gregan whiffing 2 balls in a row, 2 balls that were moving less than 10 miles per hour. And Michael Gregan and Jared Coonan will have 5 minutes to stew over a game that really should have been theirs. They led 20-17. They had a number of chances to close out game number 1, but instead it's the number 1 seeds, Marcos Chavez and Vince Munoz, stealing game number 1 after a great start. John, we're going to take a 4-minute break here. We're going to come back for game number 2, men's pro doubles semifinals here at Los Caballeros Sports Village 2012 Simple Green US Open. You stay tuned.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't. Oh.
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay,
Yeah.
here it goes.
Oh, Mom!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you.
Let's go.
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
Rethink what you know about this Vegas icon. Elevate your expectations at the Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower. See what's new, up, down, and all around.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's 1 every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
At shelters, you'll discover healthy and loving animals just waiting to become a part of your family. Why wait? You can make a difference in the life of an animal. A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person and adopt your new best friend today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
Here we go. We're gonna make some juice.
It's gonna be good.
She's excited. A little bit of kale.
Please don't put this on. I'm putting it all over the line.
It's wet. It needs something. No, it'll go.
Don't break my juicer. Looks good.
You ready to try it?
Come on, baby.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
It's okay. You like it.
All right.
They might surprise you.
Hey, she took another sip. You saw it?
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
Okay, time in. You guys are up. Yep.
Welcome
All right,
back. Game number 2 here, John. Los Caballeros Sports Village, the 2012
0, play 0.
Simple Green U.S. Open. It's #1 seeds Marcos Chavez and Vince Munoz receiving serve. They won the first game in dramatic fashion, 21-20. The Irish eyes were not smiling, John, at the end of that first game.
Excellent call right there, but that's all how doubles is. It's there's 4 mindsets, 4 guys in there. It might seem random to the untrained observer, but it's if one guy decides I'm the boss, one guy in there saying, "What's wrong with me? What am I going to do?" And it's
1-0
up at 20-20, and then there's a winner.
Michael Gregan came out here to the booth, John,
in
between games, and he said, "I got that ball at 2019." So he's frustrated with himself that he called the double bounce when he actually thought he made that get.
2-0.
That was on game point for the Irish, and that gave Vince and Marcos the side out.
That's weird on me a few times too. I judge based on I don't ever see if I'm getting the ball or not.
Replay.
But there's a lot more to that match
Check
than
the
that.
ball.
Was it more important, John, for Marcos and Vince to have won that first game than for the Irish?
I don't even have to know the then what.
Okay.
Yeah, Vince and Marcos.
I didn't even want to say the then what.
Yeah, Vince and Marcos totally needed that. You have to. There's also a big age difference here. I mean, Marcos moves very well.
But
like we saw with Nadi and Toddy, as
3-0.
great as we all know they are, in game 2, the energy was waning, and that's just what happens. So yeah, Marcos and Vince had to win that game.
Well, also, John, I would think psychologically, knowing that now you're back at the bottom of the mountain with 2 games you have to win, now all of a sudden you get the first game in your pocket and it gives you a lot more energy.
Absolutely. I don't know, why doesn't Dave Vince just agree with everything you say?
It's frustrating.
I'm watching the webcast, I'm going, absolutely, Dave,
4
you're right.
serving 0.
And then Dave Vincent says, well, there might have been a bad bounce or a bad call. Or
it's really hard to predict what he's going to say, but he's going to disagree somehow.
He's going to stir it up.
Replay. 4-0.
And Munoz Chavez doing exactly what he had to do off this first game win. Jump out again. They want to do this in 2 straight.
Well, this game has started very similar to the way game number 1 ended, as a terrible error for Marcos there, but Jer's still playing tentative, cautious handball, and Michael Gregan has been err prone early in this second game with 2 hand airs and 2 skips.
So I hope there's a lull in the action. I want to talk about the picture I saw all over the internet of you.
4-0.
Drinking a Guinness?
Actually, I did have 1 sip of Guinness in Ireland had a really nice fish restaurant. You see some contact there, Dave, or John, looked like they were boxing each other out, but
it was a good no call, I think. Neutral situation.
We were on a team bonding trip in downtown Dublin. Everyone was having a Guinness, and truthfully, I've always wanted to try it and see what it tastes like, because people say it doesn't really taste like beer. I really hate the taste of beer, so I thought I'd give it a shot, but it tasted just like beer. So
to you,
it was one sip, and that was it. But I'm glad I did it.
Now we have your viewpoint. And
we were actually bonding, John, with your brother-in-law, and I just felt like I wanted to just cement it even more, just sort of lock that in.
Timeout.
And I think
Your
it worked.
first score is 6-0.
I mean, just hours later, it was Carrie, Noddy's wife, exchanging phone numbers with my wife. So,
well, I think, Carrie's very bondable and likable. I think she would have bonded with your wife anyway, but maybe that was what pushed it over the. That's good. Glad to hear that.
Actually, they were so bonded at that point at dinner that I don't even know if either of them noticed me taking a sip. So maybe
I think the groundwork had already been done.
Okay.
But to us in the handball world, to see that photo, Carrie and Trish, they're good people on their own.
All right, time in.
6-0 here.
Well, it's similar, John, to game number 1, where it was Marcos and Vince jumping out to a 7-0 lead.
But when Vince and Marcos taste the finish line, I think it's going to be harder to come back this time.
Side out.
Now it's his curse.
Well, that was a beautiful shot from Michael Gregan. One of the flattest kills we've seen in this match.
Or as David would say, the flattest kill ever.
One down.
A lot of hyperbole when my partner's in your seat.
0-6.
Always the ultimate superlative. Always the greatest ever.
Or worst.
Or worst ever.
Point. One 6. Point. Ball slid.
Early here in game number 2, as you hear the first real emotional outburst from
he has a good
any
angle
player.
At it. He has a better angle at it than I do, so I'm going to call a replay.
I want to see who the linesman is.
He has a better angle than I do, so I'm going to call a replay on it.
Now I'm going to tell you right now, in our match, Gregan and Coonan got shafted on 4 or 5 calls. I was just silently watching that happen. No doubt about it.
That's interesting, John, that you bring that up. As an opponent, and you see your...
But...
I mean, as a player, and you see your opponent getting shafted, do you just sort of quietly meander to the server's box, or do you actually step in sometimes and say, you know what?
If it's ridiculous, I say so. I say, come on. If it's 50, if it's like 60-40, you know, yeah, I don't know. But we got shafted totally late in the second game, and we didn't protest. We just used it to fuel us, and we ran 5 points. That's the other way you can play that.
Side out. 6-2.
But Abraham Montillo never intentionally shafts anyone.
I believe he's one of the top 3 refs in the game right now.
Both he and Luis Cordova are not available on Sunday, so.
I'm actually also not available for the men's final on Sundays. I thought the men's final would be earlier in the day. I made the last flight out of town, and unfortunately, I won't be here for that men's final. Don't know if we can switch the men's final before the doubles, but probably not.
That's how we usually do it. Here's Michael Gregan stepping up again.
One down.
So it's usually the doubles last?
The last few years we've done the singles last.
6-2. Side out. 2-6.
I'm hoping, John, that you'll be able to fill in for me during that final. I don't know if you'll be reffing.
I'm trying to find equally qualified referees, but like I just mentioned, 2 of our top ones won't be there.
3-6.
Vince laying it out. What a great attitude Vince Munoz has. He got inducted into the Southern California Hall of Fame this year. And ridiculously humble, but perceptive, awesome speech. Very high character guy.
Point.
John, what does that do for you when you're playing against a guy who's, you know, pumping himself up, pumping his team up? Does that inspire you or does that irritate you? I mean, what are your emotions when you see that?
Short ball.
I've got the same thing
Ew,
ever. If things are going against me, I might randomly try and stir things up. If things are going for me, I'm just going to try and ride it. So, and that's where Gregan got us today. He was trying so hard to pump himself up, and it was back for him the whole match. And then all of a sudden, at 5-8 in the breaker, he went with it for the first time in Michael Gregan history.
And there's the Vince Munoz, John, from 2002.
Yeah, Vince from 37 feet. He just wear you out. There he is.
John, we've talked so much about Toddy Silveira returning here and how good he's looked and how great he was. But, you know, Vince is one of those guys that kind of goes unappreciated, I feel like. He's still winning major doubles championships into his 40s. He won several, or I believe one national four-wall singles title and 10 three-wall titles in a row. I mean, this guy has to be one of the greatest all-around players in the history of the sport.
I agree. Yeah, to me, he's the slam dunk next electee in the Hall of Fame. He's just so young, but he's far enough. To me, it's a no-brainer. When you factor in the three-wall singles, the one four-wall singles he got, which was huge, still was in his game, and all the doubles.
Point.
He has a slam dunk resume. He's just still so young. So
I know I should know this, John, having done my research, but how old is Vince Munoz?
I'm going to say 42. I think he was 3 or 4 years behind me in juniors. I'm 46. Okay. He might be 43. 42 or 43. Amazing.
Point.
Look at that.
Vince with an amazing explosive first step in the body control
8-4
to re-kill the Jarek Coonan shot in the left corner.
Point.
And now, John, what is Michael Gregan trying to do with that shot there?
9-4.
We're getting back into the psychology of doubles. You just there's ebbs and flows.
No. Replay.
But you know, John, you can understand when guys miss shots, they go for the right shot, but you know, you see a shot like that, he's not even going for a shot.
He just had a brain fart. Happened in double. Like early in our match, we jumped all over him because we hit every ball to his partner, and he didn't know what to do when it came to him.
That's one of those situations, Gregan diving in for a kill shot in the left or the right corner. And when things are going against you, you just seem to miss-hit those. When they're going for you, you're diving and flat killing balls.
One down.
That was a good-looking swing and shot from Vince Munoz that just
10-4.
barely missed.
Marcos and Vince looking very comfortable.
Side out.
It's going to be hard to turn this around.
Well, I believe this will be a big inning, John, for the Irish.
4-10.
As they've been outplayed thoroughly thus far in the second game, but if they can close the gap here to even 3, they'll be back in this match.
Oh, and Coonan thought he did something well there, and Vince, wow.
4-10.
Coonan thought he did what he had to do to get that started.
Point.
Solid serve by Gregan.
5-10.
Well, John, I know you've played a couple matches with this ball. It doesn't seem like this ball takes the reverse as much as balls we've used in the past. Balls that you think, as you've hit them, will straighten out, you know, down the left wall or down the right wall. They just seem to grab.
I'm just mystified. I'm just hitting the ball over my hand. I'm not going to lie. The only time when I'm bouncing the ball on my serve, and then I know where it's going to go.
Side out. 10-6.
Gregan and Coonan scoring 2 points in that inning, John, but you still don't get the
You were
sense that
calling
they're.
for 3.
Well, I felt like they needed 3,
Yeah.
and having scored only 2, I still don't feel like they're back in this second game. I feel like it's Vince and Marcos completely in control, and now with Vince off to a great start here in his first inning, now building that lead back. John, as a competitor, do you start thinking, you know, midway through the second game after you've won the first game, okay, we're 10 points now from the finals, or are you just trying to take it 1 point, 1 shot at a time?
If I haven't totally spent it, right about now I'm thinking go all out, bury him.
Point.
And that's what Marcos, yeah, but that's the difference about doubles. It just, it's 4 different mindsets. So
I feel like I have 4 different mindsets in my own mind when I'm playing singles.
Well, if you could manage that, you could use your advantage. But so Vince is thinking, come on, Marcos, get me 3 quick ones.
Okay, replay the last one.
Oh.
11-6.
What happened there?
Point.
Well, yeah, Marcos is obviously up. Well, the broken ball. Good call then.
Marcos, watch your front foot.
Well, we're hearing from our truck, John, that there was a broken
12-6.
ball. I think they thought it was broken, but it actually is not broken, because I didn't see them change the ball. And that's a confident shot, John. That's when you're really feeling it. You've got the lead. You've got a game in your pocket, and
But
you just rear back with a off-balance, back-footed left kill, and now kind of a sloppy air from Marcos. But Gregan and Coonan now, John, will need at least 4 in this inning, possibly 6.
You're right. They didn't get 3, and they're going backwards.
Second.
We're seeing now, John, a lot of 2-wall power serves in doubles from the top players. Is that something that you saw a lot of in your prime back in the, you know, early to mid and late 90s, or is that a new serve that's kind of developed and become very effective in doubles?
It was on there too. It was them too, but most doubles guys were also the best singles guys, so they didn't have it developed as well.
But I do remember, John, a great doubles team that wasn't necessarily one of the top singles players, which was Prince and Glatt. And those guys, I believe, won a national championship, and neither were really top 10 players, but they were amazing to watch. I mean, both guys all over the floor at all times with knee pads and intensity and diving. Love to see a team like that kind of shake things up.
Doubles team, yeah, just take out the singles talent.
They're almost
they almost took out Silvera and I.
You know,
they were dominating us, but we managed to win.
They remind me a little bit, John, of the Bryan brothers, who were strictly doubles players.
7-13.
And I didn't look like Vince had to go backhand there.
You have to question his intensity right now.
8 serving 13.
If I'm in there and Vince's age and I'm even older, I'm saying let's get 8 points, get out of here.
Point.
Well, for Marcos and Vince,
13.
they will have a full day to rest before coming back for the final should they win here.
Excellent point. The recalibrated bracket system
Side out.
to feature big ball tomorrow. There's several advantages to it, and I'm very happy that WPH chose to do that, and Nadia Alvarado.
Point.
And it really sets the stage, John, for an all small ball Super Sunday,
14,
as we'll have the women's
14,
singles final, the doubles final, and then the men's singles final.
Our schedule is we have 2 early men's semifinal singles.
Second.
And then we're going outdoors. All
Well, that's tomorrow. I was actually jumping ahead of you a little bit there. Went all the way to Sunday.
1 down.
But, you know, John, should Marcos and Vince win this match, We've
14,
got
serving 9.
the best players in the world competing on Sunday in all their respective brackets, as well as Hall of Famers, future Hall of Famers, and legends in the sport.
Yeah, I didn't think of it. I'm not going to take credit for it, but I love how they did the timing. It's going to be a series of great webcasts, outdoors tomorrow and indoors Sunday.
9, serving 14.
As you say, these legends of the game have a day off.
Short ball.
They're going to know what to do on Sunday. We're talking
Second.
Nadia Jr. and Tati for sure. Maybe Marcos, Chavez, Vince Munoz.
Possibly Paul Brady and Luis Moreno, who just recently squared off in the World Championship Finals.
Replay.
He ducked. Can't complain
Replay.
about that. What's he supposed to do?
Nine, 14.
But Gregan and Coonan might have something to say about it.
And Marcos puts a huge reverse on that, but it shouldn't really be a big surprise with the way he came on the outside of the ball there. And that's really the easiest time to hit a reverse, John, is when the ball is fading away from you and you catch the outside of the ball with the cupped hand. But Jared just didn't read it.
Like you're saying, they don't see much of that big ball, SoCal.
Side out.
It was
14, serving 9.
Even if it didn't reverse that much, it would have been a tough shot. That was brilliant on several fronts.
I believe, John, that Jared needs to put that shot away. And you see they lose the point. Michael Gregan with a terrible error, but that rally should have really been over there as
15-9.
Gregan hit the return of serve between the restraining line and the short line with his right hand. And here's another opportunity.
Yeah, you're right. Coonan's getting tentative right now.
And Gregan now with just 3 consecutive errors.
When you're serving the weak guy and you know he's not even going to kill your mistake,
16-9.
then you're very happy.
Oh, you know,
They
John,
fit 2 mistakes in a row to him. Yeah, he has to at least do that much.
Coonan's been very tentative since Gregan and Coonan got to 20 in game number 1, and since that point, he actually hasn't ended one rally.
Well, he's ended several, but not in his favor.
Well,
good. I probably disagree with you. But
that
not
was a good correction. No, I actually appreciated it.
17-9.
And now it's Marcos and Vince running away with this second game and match. In a lot of ways, is of course, there's the announcer's curse. Jared Coonan, after 34 minutes of not ending a rally, does end one.
With authority. Our scouting report was that he wasn't going to end many rallies in his favor, but he did.
Well, he has the ability to do it. It's just a matter of having the confidence and the consistency to keep doing it.
We'll see now.
9-17.
It seems like as Michael Gregan makes his 4th unforced error in the last 5 times he's touched the ball. But it seems, John, that Marcos has picked up on the fact that Jared Coonan is just not even attempting to end rallies. When he's in a tough spot, he's just feathering balls right at Jared, knowing that he's not going to end rallies.
Now that's what I like and I hate about Gregan. He just totally massacred that one.
10-17.
After a horrible error, he doesn't care.
Short.
What a bomb this next one.
Point.
Very strange error there, and Marcos goes to a fist with that shot.
11-17.
Coonan did try to go down with that one. And he called his partner off on that. So it's 3. Good lead.
That was the longest rally of the match, John. Ended with a Michael Gregan airs. He misplays the back wall shot, tries to take it as it merges with the side wall. He actually could have waited there for the ball to come off the side wall, but John, that was 41 shots.
Yeah, second man already.
It was so long that they don't even remember who served.
11. Point.
So Coogan took his 3 racks at that one, and then he had
18-11. Hold it. Check the ball.
Well,
Two serves. 18-11.
I'm going to go ahead and say I'm looking forward to tomorrow's match between 4 phenomenal players.
One down.
Who now know enough about doubles. I'm really looking forward to that match.
Well, that will actually be on Sunday, and I hate to correct you.
18-11.
Yeah, thank you for correcting me politely.
Short.
It feels like Saturday right now.
Second.
Time stands still here at Los Caballeros Sports Village.
Side out.
And it makes it even better that it's Sunday for the time off. Like
11-18.
Well, you always want to see the best players at their best. Certainly, tournament handball means having the physical strength and stamina to withstand a grueling event, but ultimately, you want to see the best players playing their very best, and that day off is going to really ensure that.
For these 4 guys.
All 4 guys will probably be pretty sore tomorrow,
11,
but I don't think they'll be too sore on Sunday.
It might be the best doubles match in the history of handball, as Dave Vincent would say.
Well, it's got the potential.
It's got 4 names. I'd take them over Moreno and Net. Rested.
12-18.
Just saying it. Best doubles match in the history of handball.
Well, I'm just the play-by-play guy, John. I just
I'm
don't even have an opinion.
I'm providing color right here.
It's certainly a match I'd love to see. You know, Andy, Net, and Luis, they seem to have a chemistry in there without even having to speak to each other. They know who should take what shot. They're always in the right position, and they just seem to complement each other so well. And it's one of those things that came naturally to them.
18-12.
I'm a Moreno guy from day one. I'm not selling them short at all.
Okay.
But we got Nadi, Toddy, Vince, Marcos, possibly. That's big time doubles with a day off. The only issue is I've exhausted my supply of refs. We're looking at Jimmy London right now.
Well, he actually doesn't fly, so he'd have to
one down.
Well,
start driving right now.
He also has 1 day's notice, so it's possible.
Scores 18-12.
That's about a 40-hour drive if you do it straight, which he does from St. Louis, so he would have to leave about now.
It's not 40 hours. There's no 40-hour drive in the U.S.
Okay, it's true.
Coast to coast, maybe.
He's actually be coming from the Midwest. Once he crosses over the arch, he's already, I believe, into the West. You know, I really don't know what I'm saying. I know that
I used to do those drives, and not really. Jimmy London's not really.
30
repping,
seconds.
But this one's not over yet.
I actually already started etching in Vince Munoz's and Marcos Chavez's name. I do that in calligraphy with a calligraphy knife. So if it's not over, it's going to be a very expensive and timely correction.
Either way, there's a good story, but I love these guys having 24 hours off. 4 legends of the game. Well, 3 legends of the game in Marcos.
18-12.
Who might be the best player.
And John, this is one of the only events I've seen where you're only allowed to play one event. I would have liked to have gotten into that with you a little bit, and I'm not saying I disagree with it. It's just interesting.
I didn't originally buy in, but I'm totally for it now, for the reason you explained to me.
Oh, amazing shot there from Marcos as he comes over top of that.
And the reason is we're going to see 4 legends of the game in the doubles final tomorrow. That's the main reason.
Well, you know, John, a lot of times when you play singles, doubles almost becomes an afterthought. You put everything into the singles, you go into the doubles, so you want to play well, but, you know, it's not really all that important to you, particularly after you lose in the singles, or maybe if you're still in the singles, you kind of just go through the motions in doubles. Here you've got guys, John, traveling 10,000 miles just to play doubles, so you know that the concentration is going to be so keen with them playing just one division.
One down.
And that's the main thing that I always thought. And then, I mean, Mr. Fabrizio said, we've got a lot of great players, not just Paul Brady and Luis Moreno. We have a lot of guys who should be showcased, and that's what's going to happen in this match on Sunday. It's going to be two all-time great champions, future Hall of Famers, Nadia and Tati Silveira, on the webcast. They probably wouldn't have been in the singles final against either an upcoming Irish team or a future Hall of Famer, Vince Munoz and Marcos Chavez.
Second man, 12-19.
So either way, we can't go wrong. And they're all fresh, like you say. They're all just totally focused on what they're doing.
It will be a very early tee time tomorrow for our first men's semifinal in the singles, as Paul Brady takes on Sean Lenning at 8 a.m. Great shot from Michael Gregan, one of his smoothest strokes with his left hand thus far today. And Vince Munoz senses that this is the moment that they need to take these guys out of the server's box. And Jared Coonan, John, with an excuse me punch kill.
I think he meant that.
14-19.
I'm going to give him that much credit.
Point.
And suddenly, John, and very quickly, 3 points for Gregan and Coonan. 2 errors from Chavez and Munoz, and a sort of a freak shot that you said Jared Coonan meant to hit.
I don't think it was freak. Anyway.
Slide out.
Do you like that decision
Gregan
there,
did
John?
not seize the moment. I think he was driving it down the left wall. I don't think he was shooting it.
19,
I think it was poor execution, not selection.
Okay. Looked like Gregan was a little impatient in that last rally.
I don't think he was going low with his fist.
Look at that effort and hustle from Vince Munoz.
Coonan gives the
19,
Coonan gives him the "we're okay" line.
In a very quick inning there for Chavez and Munoz.
They got to be worried now, not worried, but they got to be careful. I mean, this is what
15-19.
Coonan has no rep at all, but I'm telling you, he did nothing wrong.
Second.
Late in our match, and that's half the battle on the right side.
Well, John, that might have been the least amount of strokes I've ever seen in a doubles inning, as Marcos Chavez and Vince taken out with just 5 combined shots and 2 servers.
Yeah, they didn't seize it right there, did they?
Didn't even really make him earn the side out.
Point.
This is what happens in doubles. Just
16-19.
It seems random to an outsider, but
remember, John, this is just the first server for the Irish.
I
Second.
completely remember. This guy's ran 6 on us to win the tiebreaker.
What is there about doubles, John, that produces these incredibly dramatic and high-scoring games? Really, you've got 7 or 8 teams that could have won this title, and you look at the singles draw and you say maybe there's two guys that could win the event, probably one.
Two.
But yet, you know, you look at the doubles, you've got.
Oh, and there goes Gregan with.
One down.
Does that.
You know, literally, John, you've got 7 or 8 teams that could have won.
That's why in practice we all play double. It's just more fun. You just. Yeah, it's just the mindsets, the psychology. It's.
Hold it, screen ball.
You're gauging your opponent, you're gauging your partner. It just adds to the experience.
19.
And Jer has to put that ball away.
They should have won that point right there. But they got it anyway.
$17, $19.
John, after an hour and a half of play here, these teams are separated by just 3 overall points.
I didn't see a slide.
Let's take a quick instant replay of that as these guys appeal this. It didn't look like a slide to me.
Nobody saw a slide.
Let's see if we can get that loaded up really quickly.
That was a side out.
And this will be a good angle for it, but want to jump back in
17.
there. Here it is.
Marcos snapped that one real good. No slide.
Love this camera angle, John. And Michael with a terrible air there, and I'd love to keep that front wall cam for this last rally. Love to see the expressions on these guys' faces as we're really into crunch time now. Match point for Vince Munoz and Marcos Chavez.
Yeah, even more so for doubles. This is the best angle. I mean, you can't just always show this one, but
I don't know about that, but
this is a good way to watch.
I love watching handball from this angle.
Hold it, replay.
See, we missed why the replay was.
Well, it actually hit the window there and shot to the left.
So I
Jer's saying that Jer's saying that he didn't think it was a bad bounce.
Replay 2017.
I hope we can go back to that front wall cam here.
One man down.
Skipperoo.
Vince has had 4 openings to win this game. 17. He went to play defense on the first 3, and that time he skips a big setup. And
wow, now we got things going on. Let's mix it up again for the...
Very hard to believe there, John, as both Marcos and Vince don't take advantage of those opportunities. And John, as a doubles player, would you rather be serving at 17-20 or receiving?
I'm so biased, but I love serving. I'd rather, right now I like the Irish guy's position.
Serving as a second server?
No, not 4 points.
Okay.
Come on, that's ridiculous.
Okay.
Point.
No, it's 18.
Just speaking in hypotheticals here is.
Come on, you're crazy. Come on.
As the Irish
18,
now
20.
poised and composed right now.
We've run the stats in the computer. I believe right now they're 51.2% favorites to win this game.
So this is basically like ace-king against a pair of 9s pre-flop.
You got that exactly, yeah.
It's a coin flip.
Yeah, it's 53%, but along those same lines.
Well, maybe I didn't say ace-king suited.
Oh, that would be 51.
Yeah.
There you go, then. Now it's 19. Now it all changed.
Point.
Now it's 20, so the answer was correct. I would rather be serving, and so would Gregan and Coonan.
And now, John, it's more like you've got a set up against a baby flush draw.
Now you're like 2-7 against a pair of aces. And there it is. And this is how doubles is. They both skip a ball in to win the game.
Win the match.
To win the match, yeah.
John, right now, this is as close as this match could possibly be. And I will say there's never been a match closer than this because mathematically there can't be.
There can't be, yeah. There can't.
Both teams have scored 41 points through 2 games, and it's very likely that we're going to see an 11-10 tiebreaker, and that would tie the record for the closest match of all time. John, I know you're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere, but we're going to take a quick 4-minute break here. We're going to come back with this unbelievable tiebreaker here at Los Caballeros Sports Village. You stay tuned for David Fink, John Bike.
Rethink what you know about this Vegas icon. Elevate your expectations at the Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower. See what's new, up, down, and all around.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's 1 every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't. Oh.
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay, here it comes.
Oh, Mom!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you. Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
At Shelters, you'll discover healthy and loving animals just waiting to become a part of your family. Why wait? You can make a difference in the life of an animal. A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person and adopt your new best friend today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Here we go. We're gonna make some juice.
It's gonna be good.
She's excited. A little bit of kale.
Please don't put this on line. I'm putting it all over the line.
It's wet. It needs something. No, it'll go.
Don't break my juicer. Looks good.
You ready to try it?
Come on, baby.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
It's okay.
Okay, all right.
They might surprise you.
Hey, she took another sip. You saw it?
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
come to the booth in 10 seconds. Welcome back. David Fink alongside Hall of Famer John Bike. John, we're watching one of the most exciting and obviously one of the closest matches that's ever been played. Both teams tied at 41 points at 1 game apiece. They have to flip the coin here to go into the tiebreaker. John, what's the mentality of Marcos Chavez and Vince Munoz after blowing 2 match points on very easy setups in game number 2? And what is Michael Gregan and Coonan thinking now after escaping game 2?
This is why I love doubles so much. It's 4 different mindsets, and they're all experienced at it. Vince and Marcos have been through this on the plus and minus side, and it's an 11-point sprint right now.
Well, we've seen both teams with momentum throughout this match. It seems like it's been Marcos and Vince with more momentum, only because they've jumped out to big leads to start both games. But you know, the Irish have chipped away, maybe not necessarily scoring 7 points in a row, but they've scored, you know, 7 out of 10, you know, 4 out of 6.
They've made big holds, exactly. Yeah, they've restricted. Marcos and Vince are used to scoring 6-7 points at a whim, and they've shut that down after the beginning of the game. In a tiebreaker, though, they can't let them start out like that again, obviously.
Well, you know, last game, John, it was Marcos and Vince leading 6-0, and the score was tied at 10. It's obviously different when you're getting to the finish line, you know, as opposed to just playing out a game to 21 where it's not the same kind of pressure to tie the score at 10.
Tiebreakers are entirely different. You just gotta, every point counts so much more. You don't want to. You're very concerned about being up 5-0 or down 5-0.
All right. Coonan and Gregan won the toss. They'll be serving first in the tiebreaker. Game to 11.
Now I know, John,
0, serving 0.
You might think this question's ridiculous, but would you rather serve first or second in the tiebreaker?
Actually, yeah, that's not ridiculous at all. I love the 2 serves if you're a true team. So they put their weaker server out, then we get 2.
Point.
Didn't happen though.
Obviously, if you can get that first point in the tiebreaker, you have to like serving first, but if you can get the quick side out, it's almost like you've stolen the momentum before you've even scored.
You get 2 serves. Yeah, doubles fascinates me.
Here we go.
Fascinates Abe too.
1-0.
Well, our referee is very engaged here, as he should be.
He's doing an excellent job.
I agree with that.
If he's invisible, then you know he's doing a good job.
He's only not invisible because we've been talking about how great he's doing. Otherwise, we wouldn't even notice. And that's the hardest ball
Marcos is fired up.
That Marcos has hit. Possibly the lowest ball as well. And you have to wonder why Marcos didn't go to a shot like that with match point. Instead, he tried to hit a stiff arm paddle
0-1
in the left corner, and now they're in a tiebreaker because of it.
I'm sure Marcos has let it go. But Marcos and Vince are saying, this is our court. All right.
Hold it, replay.
Well, this is the 6th game of handball today for both these teams. Both teams
0-1.
winning dramatic tiebreakers earlier today. The Irish winning 11-9 after trailing, I believe, 8-5.
Yeah, so it must have been 11-8 then, because they ran 6.
So both teams winning 11-8 as Marcos and Vince.
Hold it.
And that rally was destined to be
Hit
played
the
over.
right guy, yeah. He was going to hit somebody.
But, you know, Marcos and Vince trailed 8-0 today and came back to win 11-8.
That's amazing, yeah.
Down.
And there's Coonan just getting his hand on that ball, got enough on it, and found the bottom board. I think Vince thought the rally was over.
That's he did. Coonan did that to us a few times also.
And there's an error from Jared Coonan. I was thinking that Jared Coonan hadn't made an error in so long, and that was enough to even invoke the curse.
You invoked the curse right there.
Side out.
And John, you'd have to think that this would be just a devastating loss for Marcos and Vince. As you said, it's their home court. This is their home tournament, and Marcos just loves playing with Vince so much. And to go out with 2 match points would be very hard to take.
And they said they were so proud that they beat Gregan and Carroll the year before. And conventional wisdom says Coonan is not as good as Carroll. I beg to differ, purely for right side doubles. I mean, Carroll is.
Well, I believe Carroll's a left-hander who's playing the right side. He ends the majority of his rallies with his left hand. He'll actually take the revolving door with the left, but there's certainly, if there's a difference between Carroll and Coonan, it's very slight. And maybe even if Carroll's a slightly better player than Coonan, that Coonan complements Gregan better.
That's kind of what I was saying off the mic. This is the partner Gregan needs.
And you see Marcos really stepping up his intensity. He's letting air out, John, as you used to do back when you were the #1 player in the world.
I still do, just no one notices.
Okay. How much does that help you, John, to exhale as you're making contact? I know you used to make that
27% better.
Sorry, that's 1 down. Man down.
That's an avoidable hinder called, and I don't agree with that call.
No. He didn't.
He was like less than a foot away from me.
Totally disagree.
It's 1 down.
You don't have to call it.
Let's quickly go to the replay.
No, I don't agree with that. He didn't move at all. You're allowed to be there.
Oh, no, it's just a
totally
terrible
wrong call. No, he actually moved out of the way on that one. That was the opposite of avoidable.
I saw the ball good.
That was way short, John.
Short ball?
John, that serve was short by 5 inches. But I just don't know what to say about that avoidable call.
The avoidable was...
is that enough, John, to take a great reffing performance into a terrible reffing performance? Just that one missed call?
Well, how he responds is the key. Everyone misses calls. I missed a call today.
Now, certainly, John, if that call happens at 10-10, the tiebreaker, it goes down as the worst reffing performance of all time, even if he hadn't missed one call in 3 hours.
Yeah, that's what we're all dealing with as referees.
3-1.
The good thing is, it's fired up Marcos. That avoidable, I have no idea. That was just random.
3-1.
Well, it was shocking that Michael Gregan even looked up at our referee for an avoidable call, and even more shocking.
Pull by Michael Gregan.
Side out.
Insane. That's a pretty good shot, though. So Vince is doing everything he can to get out of the way.
1-3.
I mean, Gregan has literally 80% of the court or more to hit into.
Point.
It's going to get ugly here. And Abe is about the best respected ref we have right now.
2-3.
He's not losing his composure.
Well, Abe is also not one of those referees that'll come up to you and say, did you think I missed that call? He thinks he made every call. So I don't know if that's a good or bad mentality, but it works for him.
Maybe he's not asking you. Maybe he's asking people he trusts.
Well, he's asking people that are going to tell him what he wants to hear. He inherited that trait actually from Dave Vincent.
And they wrap around. Vince is actually moving out of the way. He's moving to the right. He's trying to give space in that one.
If that's an avoidable hinder, then Luis Moreno would never score a point.
Luis Moreno, he'd have 5 avoidables a game.
2-3.
John, after 2 hours and 20 minutes on the court, these teams are separated by 1 point combined.
just channeling Justin Bateman and dodgeball right now. Just trying to do my best broadcasting I can.
Well, he's on the Ocho.
Vince Munoz. Wow.
2-3.
That's about all you can say there.
That's my color commentary on that one. Gregan answers.
Okay, I'll keep an eye.
And the Irish do have a tendency, John, to push off and hit, and it's not legal.
Comments, Mosca.
Second.
They do, yeah. He was pushing me the whole game. I didn't.
Well, you know, I noticed, John, being in Ireland last week, there's a completely different brand of handball in Ireland. These guys will intentionally hit each other with the ball, even in the face. They're not going to adjust their shot at all if you're in their way. And in fact, they'll go out of their way to hit you in the face. I'm not saying
that's a big difference. You said two different things there. You should hit the ball where you want to hit it. You shouldn't go out of your way to hit someone in the face.
Short ball.
I'm just saying.
But you see power serves that hit the side wall on the same side as the server, and the returner generally will flip the ball over their head, maybe to the ceiling, even if they wanted to hit it where the server was standing. But in Ireland, it's a different story.
You got to hit the ball where you want to hit it. Backhand.
With authority, too.
And
oh, that was definitely a screen, no question about it. Michael Gregan has his hand on it, and is that a makeup call, John, or just another missed call? Because that was a clear screen.
This is where it gets hard for a ref.
4 serving 3.
You miss one. I agree. I agree with the ref. I agree with the ref.
Second.
I'd like to see some more live action from the front wall cam.
Hold it. Replay.
That's a good call. Obvious good call. As
Well,
a
John,
referee, you just have to. Things break down if there's too much complaining, but you just have to trust your own calls. That's the only time things get ugly. Is when the ref starts to panic. And I know you're used to Dave Vincent panicking in the booth. Like, oh, that's a bad call.
He's actually resorted to taking his headphones off.
This is so bad. And that's how he's seeing it too, isn't it? There's Dan the Hand Armijo right there, handball legend.
One down.
And Marcos looks like he changed his swing there to avoid hitting Michael.
Like you said, in Ireland, you would just wrap him in the back.
5-3.
Actually, they go for the face there, from what I've seen.
So that
an unnamed left-hander, John, in Ireland, who's pretty close in age to you.
Tom Sheridan.
Well, I saw him hit a gentleman 3 times in the face in one game.
Get out the way. I love Sheridan more than I ever did. I already thought he was a good dude. Now I think he's even better.
And there were no apologies.
No, get out of the way. Get your face out of the path of my ball.
Oh, and Marcos misses a very easy setup there.
3 plays 5.
No, the hitter's going to hit it where he wants to hit. This is where Coonan shined the last match. He became rock solid, and Gregan shot. Balls to the walls. And there's one.
Point.
There it is. That's what Michael Gregan does.
It was Vince Munoz and Marcos Chavez with 2 match points, John, at 20-17 in game number.
Both skip balls in. Sorry.
Game number 2, and as you said, John.
Your play-by-play.
Well, no, it's okay, but as you said, John, they both skipped in balls with big setups, and now they find themselves in a real dogfight.
Hold it, replay, hold it, stop. Marcos, you gotta give him more room.
The replay was before that back wall setup.
You gotta give him more room.
It was some congestion there against the left side wall with Michael and
4-5.
Marcos, and that probably is unavoidable, John.
He was like, yeah, he was leaning in.
But I guess it's only unavoidable when you're standing against the right wall, moving away from the play, not when you move into the play.
I'll ask my linesman. I thought he was going to make it.
You can't ask the linesman that call. That's twice.
4, serving 5.
So Abe has moved down in the ref rankings from 1 to like 3 or 4.
Well, I think there's only 3 or 4. So what you're saying is he's in last place now?
We got Chip, we got Vic, we got me, we got Danny Bell.
Well, with all due respect to Chip, he's not even in the standings.
Clutch shot by Vince Munoz. La Mosca! I'm gonna root a little bit.
Well, there's certainly nothing wrong with that. I mean, Harry Carey cheered on the Cubs on national TV.
Cubs win.
Side out.
Amazing shot from Marcos, and they'll come in with their first server at 5-4.
This time, if you get the game point, though, you better get it.
5, serving 4.
History's taught us that. Marcos Chavez, clutch kill.
But Jared Coonan doesn't do anything with that huge back wall setup and gives Marcos the opening.
Short.
How do you hate Jared Coonan?
I happen to love him. I just wish that he would let his game go a little bit more and take a little bit more chances, particularly off the back wall with his right hand. He's got an amazing right-handed Irish whip back wall kill, and he just doesn't use it enough. And Marcos not even close on that shot, John.
I'm not sure that selection I don't agree with. They're in a neutral rally.
6-4.
Is he really feeling it that much?
He doesn't need to force it there. It's such a low percentage shot.
Second.
Oh, amazing fist shot there from Michael Gregan. Takes the ball off the wall, comes over it with the fist, and keeps it down the left wall.
4-6.
Left it up. Vince takes over.
Try point. 5-6.
John, we're in the tiebreaker here. These teams split the first 2 games 21-20, 21-20. Now it's 5-6 in the tiebreaker.
Amazing.
John, we're on pace for the closest match in the history of handball. It can only be tied should they play an 11-10 tiebreaker here. And that's actually not hyperbole.
Because in Ireland, I counted like 125 greatest things ever. I got the transcripts.
Well, I don't know if you also noticed in Ireland, but each time the crowd capacity was announced, it went up by 1,000.
I heard it was 50,000.
Well, it started out that it held 1,500, then all of a sudden there were 2,000 people there, then 3,000.
I actually did notice that. We all noticed that.
The last count actually had 5,000.
5,000. Yeah. 5,
well, I was getting there. We didn't jump straight to 5,000 though. We went through each number.
I've got the transcripts. I'm studying you guys.
Well, I appreciate that, but we went from 1,500 to 2,000 to 3 to 4,000, and then made the big jump to 5.
5,000 people.
But don't forget about the thousands of people watching on the big screen on the ground floor.
I count them.
Okay.
Vince Munoz.
And there is Marcos Chavez's brother, Carlos, who's supporting his big brother.
6-5.
Oh, Munoz is going to take over now.
Well, Jared Coonan changed his mind at the last minute, John.
Yeah.
Have to be decisive.
Mr. Gregan again. Answering the call.
7-5.
You know it's going to be 11-10 the way this.
Oh, there's really no doubt at this point.
That was very tense. That was wrong shot.
Well, that's what frustrates me right now. And Michael Gregan had a huge setup, John. And this is very similar, John, to your match today, where you guys led 8-5, and Gregan then ran off 6 straight points.
Just, all of a sudden, they decided they were shooters again. That with that part.
Heel, I call it good.
Was
One
short.
agree.
Oh, that ball was short.
That's
A terrible
huge.
call there as it's missed by the referee and one of the linesmen. That ball clearly hit the line, John.
Oh, we needed a bad call in our game. They're already playing again.
Nope. Over.
And Marcos has to put that away. He's got the left corner open there, and he's got Gregan pinned behind him on his left. He shoots the ball to the left corner, and it's an easy rally ender.
It's easy in the booth.
9-5.
It's actually pretty tough out
Short
here.
ball.
A little bit hot.
Short.
My lips are chapped.
One agree.
I was
Second
going in a
serve.
different direction. Wait a minute, have you made every one of those?
I don't know if I made one shot in this event.
So then that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah, Coonan's getting.
Side out.
What the heck? This is why double is so random.
5-9.
Why did that just happen? 5-9. Now he might just serve 6.
Replay.
He stepped in. He stepped in.
He showed him the shot and took it away
stepped
from
in.
him.
The straight path. He had the angle. 5-9.
Abraham is having a very, very tough tiebreaker right now. He called an avoidable that wasn't even close to being avoidable, and
That's
then
the one I didn't like.
he hasn't called 3 avoidables that were clear avoidables. Also missed a couple of short calls.
That was a good job by Marcus holding his ground. Good block there. He'll wear that battle scar with pride on Sunday. Either
Will he be wearing it from his
at a
couch?
Raiders party, or a handball game.
Okay.
Point.
And the anguish on the face of the Chavez and Munoz faithful, as they know, John, a 9-6 lead is far from safe here in this tiebreaker. They saw their.
You don't want to lead in this match.
Well, that's probably true. They saw their guys with a 20-17 lead in game number 2, match point on their first server, unable to close it out. They have another lead here, but it's the Irish on their first server now.
This is how they do. How'd you know those guys were rooting for Marcus?
That's a legitimate question. I'm not sure I have a good
they
answer.
might be rooting for the Irish. I don't know.
Well,
they might
they
be
very
tan.
well might.
Look at Gregan, steps in on every shot when. Wow, this is what he did. This just blows your mind. Like, come on, you can't do that. You have a history of choking. Now you're gonna make all these?
Do you like all that emotion from
That's what he
there?
did to it. That's what he did. Like, come on, you're gonna miss.
Short.
Surprised we don't see an appeal there. It did look short.
Second serve.
But it's amazing how close every call seems as you get late into these tiebreakers. It seems that every play is controversial, particularly in doubles. I believe, John, that Gregan gets himself too pumped up after hitting a great shot.
That's what I think too, but he's finally feeding on it.
That's why, John, you don't see golfers doing a lot of fist pumping and
Yeah, after one good
high-fiving
shot,
because
yeah.
you've got to stay in that same
You have to do it
mindset.
5 times. You can't do it once. Exactly. That's what. Mosca!
Vince Munoz, Dave, or John, with perhaps the best shot of this match. considering the circumstances.
That's his career right there. Right corner, flat.
I believe, John, that will be the difference in this match. That was the momentum that will finally turn the tide in favor of Marcos and Vince.
I hope you're right.
Vince slips there. Now it's Jared Coonan on the left.
No. Mondo Ortiz, top-notch player himself, modeled the game after Vince Munoz.
Well, Mondo Ortiz has been mentored by both Marcos and Vince, and you know he wants these guys to win as badly as anybody in this building.
And they get it again. They got to be worried now. Mondo is. 4 points. They got to get 2 outs before they score 4.
Well, it looked like Vince had put Team Chavez Munoz in control, but
that's how doubles is.
Almost like baseball, their momentum is tomorrow's starting pitcher. Your momentum is that last rally.
7, serving 9.
I can't disagree with that.
Point.
Wow. I like Armando. I like Marcos going for that, but I don't like him skipping it.
9.
Gregan didn't go for it there. He drove it.
And for some reason, John Michael Gregan, falling off balance, doesn't square himself up for that shot, just took a wild open stance, open shoulder swing.
8-9.
This is
short.
I like Marcos' juice in that one, though. I mean,
Second
during
serve.
the whole course of a match, a drive like that's not good enough, but he just put a little extra hook on that one.
Point.
And Gregan's just fearless. He doesn't even care. He's like, I've missed these, I've made these. We'll just see what happens.
Together at 9.
Once again, John, as close as it can possibly be. 9-9 in the tiebreaker here. Men's Open semifinals. Winner to play Nadi and Tati Alvarado. Nadi Alvarado and Tati Silveira in the final on Sunday.
See, back in my day, Vince was the fearless one. He'd either flatten it or skip it by a hair. Nice cut. We'll see what he does with this one. He left it up.
Hold it. Replay.
And Marco's not happy with that call. Jared Coonan with a huge setup with his right hand and instead just chooses to go right back down the middle of the court.
Well, he's trusting his partner at this point. He's trusting it. It goes in Gregan's hands, and he's just a sport roll.
One of the best serves Gregan's hit all match.
That's why.
And now it's match point, John, for Michael Gregan.
So that's why Coonan was right on letting it go there. He's trusting his partner.
Time
He's
out,
saying,
Marcos.
I'm gonna keep
first.
it in play.
Score is 10-9.
You're gonna win or to lose it.
1 minute.
This is the second server, John, for Jared Coonan and Michael Gregan.
But it's only 10-9, so you got to figure they're gonna get him out.
You would think, based on what we've seen thus far, but if Marcos and Vince are able to take them out of the box here, they will have 2 servers to score 2 points. If they lose this next rally, though, this match is over, and their dream of recapturing this U.S. Open Championship is over.
It's all on the line right here.
You really cannot ask for anything more than this. This is everything you hope for when you put together an event.
I just love the psychology. I've played all 4 of these guys 100 times, and those 2 4 hours ago. Michael Gregan is definitely thinking, I'm going to win this match with a kill shot right now.
Well, it's one of those matches, John,
And
where
Coonan's
you hate to
thinking,
see.
I'm going to keep it in there.
10.
What are
Possible
Vince and
match
Marcos
point, serving
thinking?
9.
He did it. Michael Gregan did it. He did it. I'm telling you. They're begrudgingly applauding Michael Gregan. They're in the final right now against Nadi Alvarado and Tati Silveira. They won.
And there'll be a lot of tears shed here, John, tonight at Los Caballeros Sports Village, as maybe that'll be Vince Munoz's last chance to capture one of these huge major championships, and he had it on his hand, as did his partner Marcos Chavez in that second game. They weren't able to put away those offensive opportunities at 20-17. It's Michael Gregan and Jarrett Coonan with the composure and the poise in a hostile environment, coming back, John, winning that second game 21-20, and then in dramatic fashion coming back in this tiebreaker, scoring 6 consecutive points to win 11-9. John, it'll be Michael Gregan.
Excellent shot of Michael Gregan. Coonan did what he had to do, kept it steady, and this is what Gregan obviously likes. He wanted his hand in doubles, and he made the big shot.
Well, John, I don't know if there's anything more thrilling than going into your opponent's backyard where everyone's against you. You're down, it looks like you're out.
Oh, yeah.
And you come through with just an absolutely stunning comeback win. And John, the patrons here just stunned. I don't think anyone really knows what to say.
Yeah, I just they thought this is the week. They thought that big deal. They beat John and Chris, but I said, wow, they just ran 6 points on us in a tiebreaker. We're giving them all we had. They did it again.
And it's incredible, John, how these things work out in championship handball, because had you guys maintained that lead at 9-5 in the tiebreaker,
8-5.
Excuse me, 8-5 in the tiebreaker, you might not even been able to play the semifinals as you're battling an injured hip. They might have had a walkover into the final. Instead, they have to face a team that made an improbable comeback against you, and they do the same thing to Marcos and Vince, and now it's Michael Gregan and Jarrett Coonan in the final. They'll face Nadi Alvarado and Tati Silveira. You have to think Nadi and Tati are the overwhelming favorites, but so were Vince and Marcos here in this match. I don't think Michael Gregan considers himself an underdog in any match.
Exactly. That's what you love to see. That's what I love about doubles. This guy is just thrilled to be. He's got a steady right side partner. This is what his mind. This is what he likes. His own psychology. He says, "I got a steady partner." He lost here with several guys. Carroll, Des Keegan, and now he's got a guy where he's the alpha male, and he's saying.
Well, it's similar, John, to Luis Moreno, who hasn't really had much success playing with other alpha males. He gets in there with a guy, Andy Nett, who lets Luis take that role and lets him be the captain and take charge. And now you see a different Luis Moreno in doubles. But this is all about Michael Gregan and Jarrett Coonan. We're going to sign off here, John. I mean, I think you and I both probably speechless at this point. Michael Gregan and Jarrett Coonan winning this semifinal match, 20-21, 21-20, 11-9. One of the most dramatic matches and one of the most exciting that I think we've ever seen, certainly on the webcast. And we're going to sign off here for David Fink, John Bike at the Simple Green U.S. Open 2012. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, racefor8.com. You stay tuned. We'll see you tomorrow morning.